I just recorded 8 minutes of me talking, and I wasn't on screen. That's cool, and this is another reason why I'm not doing YouTube anymore, because it gets so frustrating when you make things happen. But we're here. I'm here. We're talking about it. Yes. Let's talk about John Wick Chapter 4. I know what everyone's going to say. I know. But in the video, I made it very clear that if I wanted to make a video, I'm going to make a video. And I want/need to talk about John Wick Chapter 4 because it is by far one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had in a movie theater. And it is a film that if you have not seen it, I would implore you to go watch it right now. Like click off, go watch, and then come back. But we're going to talk about John Wick Chapter 4 today. Wow, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. We need to talk about it because it's just that damn good. All right, John Wick Chapter 4. Directed once again by Chad Stahelski. Starring the likes of Keanu Reeves, Donnie Yen, Bill Skarsgård, Ian McShane's back, Laurence Fishburne's back, Lance Reddick, rest in peace, is back as well, along with a handful of other really awesome kind of side characters that we see every now and then in this movie. Hell yeah. This movie is great. And I know people are gonna say that like the writing in these movies aren't always very strong. First, I highly disagree with that. I think the writing of these movies and the world building and all of that is incredibly strong. The thing I like so much, and this is where we're going to start with, the thing I like so much about this movie is that we're kind of taking a little bit of a left turn in John's story. The first 3 movies are about him. They're about him trying to find his freedom and all of the everything else and dealing with the high table and what he's doing is right or what he's doing is wrong and blah 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 and all of that stuff. A lot of this movie is about the friends and people that are close to John dealing with the consequences of what John has done. And we saw a little bit of that in the 3rd movie, but I feel like this movie in particular, it's not really about John fully. It's more about the people that are close to him suffering the consequences of what this crusade that he's taken out against the high table. Basically, the point of this movie is the Marquis, played by Bill Skarsgård, is hunting down John, and John can get his freedom in 2 ways. The high table story is coming to a head in this movie. Like we are reaching the conclusion of the high table story. And again, spoilers. I'm going to talk spoilers here. So, like, if you haven't seen the movie, click off, watch the movie, come back, and we'll talk spoilers. There's 2 ways that John can get his freedom in this movie. 1 is in death. 2 is by winning a old-timey duel against the Marquis, played by Bill Skarsgård. It's good. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I'm gonna let's put an "it's a good movie" counter up somewhere. Like, it's a good movie. So I really like the fact that we're not just talking about John here. We're seeing the consequences, seeing other people deal with the consequences of John, which puts John in a hard position because he doesn't want to see his loved ones and people that he cares about suffering and stuff like that. I really like that. The thing I also like is that they set out the stakes right away. When they kill Winston's concierge, Sharon, played by Lance Reddick, in the first 10 minutes of the movie. I did not expect that. And I was like, he's not dead. He's not. He's wearing a bulletproof vest, blah, blah, blah. No, he's dead in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And I'm like, okay, the stakes here have been laid, and it is obvious that this is a different movie with stakes. So that is something that I think would really worked well, because it set out right away, oh, this is a different movie. The stakes here are really high, and no one is really safe. And I really liked that about this movie. I thought that was really good. All right, let's talk about it. The action. This movie. These movies are vehicles to show you action sequences that you've never seen before, and show you incredible action with every type of weapon, every type of vehicle, every type of mixed martial arts or kung fu or fighting styles. They're a melting pot of just every action movie together into this grand spectacle. This movie in particular, like, you're going to get with the John Wick movies. Bold, bombastic, turn your brain off type action that really doesn't make a lot of sense, but you can believe it enough to be like, oh yeah, that's gonna hurt. There's something about this movie though in particular that's just like bigger, bolder, more crazy, that left me with a big smile on my face. I think that there are multiple sequences in this movie that are doing things that I've never seen before, and that's like, that doesn't happen nowadays. Like, a lot of movies, they're borrowing something from somewhere. It's very hard to find a movie that's like strictly completely original. Yet Everything Everywhere All at Once last year, that was incredible. It was original, it was awesome, and I love that movie, and it's so good. But you don't see a lot of things like that anymore. Everything is taken from something else nowadays. But there were sequences in this movie that I was sitting there, and in my mind, I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before. The way it's choreographed, the way it's shot, the way it's executed as a whole is just incredible. There's a sequence in this movie, and everyone's going to talk about the chase through Paris or the dance rooms, the club sequence. No, the sequence I want to talk about is... it's the sequence in Paris where they're in the big building and John has a fire shotgun and they go overhead and they film it overhead. And it's a big old oneer. I kid you not. When that sequence was happening, I could feel my jaw like this. Like, literally, I was like, what am I watching right now? I've never seen anything like this, and this is incredible. It's just like, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they executed it properly. I don't know how they made it look as good as it did. But that sequence, the fire shotgun sequence with the overhead shots, that's how I explained it to my mom. And then when she watched, she was like, holy shit, like, you're right. I don't know how they executed it that perfectly and flawlessly, but it was incredible. It was incredible. Like, that's the type of stuff you come to watch these movies for. Brain numbing, turn your brain off type action. But it's like higher art action, if that makes sense. Like, it's just executed really well and like shot and edited flawlessly. Excuse me. So the action here is great. I think the final stairs scene, everyone's going to talk about that scene. That's great. I do love the chase through Paris. It's awesome. I mean, there is no action sequence here that I don't like, because they continue to find ways to be inventive. Even in the fourth movie, they continue to find ways to be inventive, which is great. Okay. Last but not least, and again, if you're still here and you haven't seen the movie, heavy spoilers. If you don't care, then okay, get ready for one of the biggest shocks of your life. John Wick is dead. Whoa, they made that decision. John Wick is dead. They kill him at the end of this movie. The titular character of this franchise is gone. He is dead. So I read an article. I forget the initial source. I think I read it in The Hollywood Reporter. I don't know if they were the original source, though. It was an interview with director Chad Stahelski, and he was talking about how when they went to pitch this to Lionsgate, that this was going to be the movie where they kill John Wick, basically ending the franchise. The executives were like, are you effing crazy? What the F are you thinking? And that was my first reaction when I when I realized what was happening in this movie and that John Wick was actually dead. I was kind of angry because I was like, oh man, but like these movies are so good. But then I took some time to really sit in it and really think about it. And when I did, I realized, and you guys may not like me for saying this, and you guys may think I'm completely off base and completely wrong, I kind of agree with them. I think this was kind of the perfect way to end it. Let me ask you the question. Why does everyone have superhero fatigue right now? Why do people hate these franchises so much now? Because they're overlong, they're overbearing, they're not ending properly. The MCU is a different story, but like some of these other franchises where people are like, oh, okay, it's just, Jurassic Park, like something like that. They're just making the movies to make the money. It doesn't. The story at this point is, it's run its course. I think they made the right decision ending it here. Because when I was sitting in the theater, I was thinking, I'm like, okay, the high table stuff is going to end in this movie. Like the high table storyline is over in this movie. So what could possibly be next? The high table, according to this lore in this world, is the biggest of the bad. They are the overarching villain for everyone in this entire franchise. There is no one bigger and badder. So the fact that I knew we were coming to the end of the high table storyline, I was like, okay, well, where could we possibly go next? I don't really see a way that they can up what they have done here, story and narrative wise. So when I read the interview and I kind of sat with my thoughts, I realized, no, this was the perfect ending, because you're not just going to create another faceless villain that you claim has a big high power. Like, it's just not believable at that point, because you've been hyping up the high table for the first 4 movies. So I actually really like that decision. Don't let it get overdrawn. Don't become unoriginal. End on a bang. End on a high note. I thought that was brilliant. My mom always talks about Tony Stark and how she would have wished Tony Stark would have stayed alive. I mean, of course I do too. I love Tony Stark. But what I always tell her is that was the perfect way to end Tony's story. Narrative-wise, writing-wise, that was the way you end Tony's story. And honestly, that's the way you end John's story too. All he wants is to be a loving husband. That's what he wanted on his gravestone, was loving husband. He gets to go now be with his wife. The logistics of that, I'm not sure. He killed a lot of people. But we're not going to get into that. That's a conversation for another day. But we think, at least, that he gets to be with his wife now. And he gets to be happy now. Because ever since his wife has died, we've seen he has been a broken man. And now he gets to finally return and say hello to the love that he lost in the first movie. So, like it or hate it, in the end, I think this was a fitting conclusion to the John Wick franchise. Now, are there going to be spin-offs? Of course, there was a post-credit scene. Yes, there's going to be spin-offs. Am I going to really be interested in them? Probably not, because I came to these movies for John Wick. It's the John Wick franchise. I came for John Wick. I'll watch the other whatever they put out. But I consider the John Wick franchise done. You'll have things set in the John Wick world, but it's not going to be the John Wick franchise, because John Wick is dead. So I really love this movie. I think this movie's fantastic. It's my favorite of the year. I give it a 97 out of 100. And that's like why I wanted to make a video today and talk about it, because it's just so damn good. It's just a good movie. And the consensus agrees. I believe 98% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 98% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and Rotten Tomatoes isn't the be all end all, but I mean there is some weight to that. Everyone on Letterboxd, all my friends, all the YouTubers I see, like everyone loves this movie because it's a good freaking movie. All right, go down in the comments. Let me know. What'd you think of John Wick Chapter 4? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know why. I want to hear your thoughts. Don't get used to me coming back and making a bunch of videos. I wanted to make this one because John Wick Chapter 4 is freaking good. I'm thinking if I give a movie a 5 stars out of 5 stars, I might make a video because I feel that, like, I feel that much about it. But again, like I said in my last video, if I want to make a video, I'm going to make a video. If I don't, I don't. And so I wanted to make this video and talk about this movie with you guys because I think this movie's freaking awesome. We have a video coming at the end of the month. It's going to be a little check-in video. Like I said in my last video, I wanted to do monthly check-ins. So we're going to do that along with my Blu-ray haul, which is going to be fun. So we'll see you in a few days. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. We'll see you in the next video.